In the spring of 1863, the Confederacy, mainly Richmond and Virginia, was struggling to maintain a stable economy as the war required a large amount of resources to be consumed. The need for resources were so bad that the government told Southern farmers to focus more on growing food crops rather than cotton. The South was not the best equipped for supplying such a high demand of resources for the war, especially guns and ammunition, as they were not the most industrialized. President Davis and his Confederate Congress were devising a way to keep a steady stream of supplies to their troops in battle. It was this mindset that led to the development of the Impressment Act.
President Davis, we need to discuss our struggling economy in this Confederacy.
Yes, I know. These years of war haven't been the easiest. Heck, even the weather's attacking us. Our crop production has been drastically reduced due to that winter of 1863.
Don't forget the spring that followed. Remember the one that turned all of our roads into slush pits?
How could I forget? It made it nearly impossible for us to transport food and fuel into Richmond. On top of that, our economy is struggling. What does Congress suppose we do?
Well, Congress is proposing that we enact this, the Impressment Act.
Interesting. Now, before I sign off on this, mind explaining it to me?
Well, the Impressment Act will help support our troops by seizing food, fuel, slaves, and other supplies from other cities and bringing them to our troops. And in addition, the increased taxes will help our economy bounce back.
Very well. Have this implemented immediately and tell Congress I said so.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The Impressment Act had worsened the living conditions for middle to lower classes living in the Confederacy. Women became discontent with the effects of the Impressment Act as their wages were severely lowered. Food resources were more likely to be given to troops than the women or the other people not in the war. And overall, the women felt as if the government was neglecting them and favoring the troops more. There was even one point where President Davis required that the Confederacy fast and pray for the war on March 27, 1863. This enraged the general population of the Confederacy, mainly the middle and lower class women, to the point where Mary Jackson and Minerva Meredith held a meeting on April 1, 1863 at Belvedere Hill Baptist Church.
Okay, ladies, the meeting to discuss our current financial predicaments will begin in a few minutes, but where's Minerva? I know I told her that we'd be having a meeting today.
So sorry, ladies. My poor son was complaining about his stomach eating itself. The thing's just skin and bones.
Okay, let's get down to business.
Agreed. What are we going to do about our current situation? We barely have enough food to survive.
Gosh, I know. The bread is just too expensive, and the wages were just cut.
The government is saying that this food shortage and price increase was meant to provide materials for our soldiers, but what about us?
Ladies, please. We don't need to complain if we're not going to do anything about it.
I have an idea. Let's go talk to the governor.
Let's do it. We'll meet tomorrow at Capitol Square, and we'll tell Virginia Governor John L. Letcher about our current issues, and we'll see what he can do for us.
Good idea. Let's meet tomorrow. Meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you for returning. Now's our time to make our stance, make our opinion be heard.
We can't be passive any longer about our families starving.
Let's go. We demand to see Governor Letcher.
Sorry, ladies, but he's busy at the moment.
We'll see him now.
You stay here while we go and meet the governor. We need to discuss our lowered wages. What is the meaning of this? Secretary!
There were too many of them.
What do you little ladies want?
Our families are starving.
Our children are starving.
We're starving.
You have to do something about this. Sorry, missus, but the soldiers are my priority. They're the ones fighting. Meanwhile, y'all are in here causing a ruckus and disrupting my work. My secretary will see you out.
After being declined and rejected by John Letcher, the women, led by Mary Jackson and Minerva Meredith, began to march through the streets of Richmond, Virginia, chanting "Bread or Blood," and "We celebrate our right to live, we are starving," on April 2nd, 1863. Eventually, this march turned into a riot, leading women and a few men to resort to sacking and raiding stores for food and clothing. The majority of women also raided markets in search of bread to feed their families, thus becoming the Richmond Bread Riot.
Bread or blood. Bread or blood. Bread or blood. Bread or blood.
President Davis, do you hear that? There's a mob outside. What should we do?
Order the artillery unit out there immediately. Maybe the battle scare them away.
It's already done. Governor Fletcher ordered the public guard out there. Needless to say, it's not doing too well.
I'll do it myself. What is the meaning of this? If all y'all don't disperse, I'm ordering the public guard and artillery unit to kill all y'all. Now, we wouldn't want our children to be both starving and motherless, now would we?
Well, that was harsh.
Yeah, whether we leave or stay, our children still starve. It's best we call it a day. I agree.
Well, that took care of itself, didn't it?
Not exactly. The mobs may have gone away here in Richmond, but all over the Confederacy, more and more crowds are gathering together in riot.
Let me see this. You're right. There's riots everywhere.
People of
In Atlanta, Georgia.
We will not deal with this anymore. We eat tonight.
In Macon,
This
Georgia.
isn't just a woman's problem. It's everyone's problem.
Yeah, I'm tired of starving. What?
Even in Mobile, Alabama.
Hey, do you know what you're doing?
Yes, I do know what I'm doing. I'm fighting for our right to live, our right to eat. You need to join us.
Okay.
I suggest we place cannons around Richmond to discourage any of these future riots from happening. But that still leaves the problem with hunger. I suggest that we feed the poor and middle class first, because they're the ones who are complaining the most and the most troublesome.
Sounds good, Mr. President, but will this be enough to satisfy the people?
It'll have to do for now.
And what about the Union? How do we keep this spreading to them? If they find out, we're ruined.
I agree, you're right. If word of this bread riot were to got out to the Union, it'd only fuel the propaganda. That's why I ordered Secretary James A. Seaton to prevent any of the local press within Richmond to spread this bread riot to any other part of both the Confederacy and the Union.
Sounds good, Mr. President.
Unfortunately for the Confederacy, Union war prisoners escaped during the riot and were able to publish their story about the Richmond bread riots on the New York Times newspaper on April 8, 1863. Surprisingly, during the entire riot, nobody was proclaimed dead, but there were several injured and about 60 men and women were arrested and put into prison for being affiliated with the riot. The Confederate situation only worsened as their transportation network would break down and Union armies would occupy more and more Confederate land. The bread riots underlined the desperate situation on the home front. It would also emphasize the gradual demoralization that had greatly affected the Confederate cause.